Well, this was a strange one and doesn't really have much of a fall theme, but there is the Thanksgiving parade, so we'll go with it. We're Back was based on a children's book, which can be very tricky to adapt into a full-length movie as they're often very, very short. The parts that matter only take up a few pages worth of writing, with most of the book being pictures. So, what do you use to fill up the rest of the time? What else but hijinks? Filling empty space with comedic hijinks was a staple of animation in the 90s. Disney, Pixar, even animation legends like Don Bluth fell into that trap more than once. Rather than using the extra time to expand more on the characters, their personalities, hopes, dreams, and desires, anything else about them, they just jingle keys in your face with lots of loud noises and fast movement. Some of it is funny, sure, and occasionally it's even relevant to the plot, but not often. It did not do well in the box office and got mixed reviews from critics. The animation was mostly good and colorful and bright, the score was good, the voice acting, even if a few of the choices they made were a little distracting, like having the voice of Lisa Simpson be Celia without her noticeably doing anything to make her voice not sound like Lisa Simpson. It was mostly good. However, the pacing, the lack of character development, and the sheer amount of filler was just not to the movie's benefit going by how it flopped. The story focuses on a group of dinosaurs who are captured from their lives in the past and fed a cereal that makes them smarter. Okay, sure, why not? By a kindly old inventor and his little alien friend. Apparently, this old man listens in on the private thoughts and dreams of children throughout the world. Nothing creepy about that, I'm sure. And one of the wishes that resonated the loudest and is most often repeated is by small children who want to see real dinosaurs. Hey, Captain New Eyes? Weird name, by the way. Most kids make really weird, silly wishes. That's part of being a kid. Also, why are you not granting the wishes of kids in war-torn countries to, not live in war-torn countries? Why don't you make some kind of empathy cereal to feed to warmongering genocidal maniacs to make them realize how monstrous they are and to stop what they're doing? All the kids throughout time who wish for food and a safe place to sleep? Wishing for their parents to maybe stop hitting them? Any of that? No? Just the first world kids who want to see dinosaurs? Well, alright then. The names of these dinosaurs range from okay to just weird or lazy. There's Elsa, which is fine, but then there's Woog, Dweeb, that's literally an insult. You named him an insult. And of course, Rex. The captain explains to them that he is going to take them to the Museum of Natural History, where a friend of his will give them the chance to meet children and make their dreams come true. He doesn't take them directly to the museum. That'd be too easy. Instead, he dumps them in the waters of the East River outside New York City. That water was filthy even in the 90s, my dude, and I doubt being smarter has made their immune systems any stronger. Or given them the ability to handle the lower oxygen levels, for that matter. Before he drops them, very literally, he gives them a warning to avoid his brother, Professor Screw Eyes. Who named these kids? Apparently, when they were children, an incident with a crow took one of the professor's eyes, and ever since he's been crazy and now makes his living and uses his intelligence to frighten people rather than to make them happy. Frightening them is what's making them happy, though? It's not like he's sneaking into people's houses and yelling boo or something. He's running a circus that very clearly and plainly tells anyone who visits it what they're in for. The people who are going there want to be scared. He might not be making them happy in the same style as the captain, but he's still making them happy in his own way, and only doing it to those who consent to it and want to be there. The dinos end up in the water and run into a young boy who is running away from home named Louie. He ends up saving Rex with a crane that he somehow knows how to operate, and he starts escorting them through the city to get them to the museum, after which he intends to join a circus to get away from his overbearing mother. They meet Celia, a girl who Louis also talks into running away with him because her parents don't pay attention to her and basically abandon her constantly, even leaving her all alone on her birthday. So she really is Lisa Simpson, just with much richer parents. I get her dad being busy with working to provide the life they're living, but she says her mother is just very social. So her mother is so busy drinking martinis and gossiping with other catty housewives that she doesn't even show up to her own daughter's birthday? Wow. Rex should probably just eat that woman. They try to find a way to get the dinosaurs through the city without people noticing them, which is hard considering how gigantic they are. Thanks again for just dumping them in the river, Captain. The kids find the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade going on and take the opportunity. By having the dinosaurs act like parade floats, they're able to hide in plain sight. Unfortunately, Rex gets a little too into the parade music and starts singing an admittedly very catchy song, during which he punctures a balloon that deflates and lands on them. Seeing them pulling themselves out from under it, people realize that the dinosaurs are in fact real, and while the kids aren't scared, the adults panic, leading to a chase scene with the police and army. Louis and Celia get separated in the confusion and end up finding their way to the professor's circus. Despite the very obvious warning signs, they end up signing a contract to work for him before the dinosaurs are able to reach them. Kids, gonna tell you right now, anyone who tells you to sign anything in blood is not good. Also, contracts signed by children under the age of 18 are not legally enforceable without parental consent and/or supervision. So, yeah. Professor, you've basically got toilet paper there. The dinosaurs show up and try to take the kids with them, but the professor points out the contracts and says they can't leave, which makes Celia start crying. Celia, honey, you just willingly signed on to join the circus. Why are you upset about something you literally just agreed to? You and Louis wanted to work for him. Why are you acting like it's suddenly terrible? Instead of doing the logical thing and telling the professor to get bent, good luck enforcing that contract on kids, and hi, you've got one of the Earth's apex predators right there. They do nothing as the professor demonstrates his brain drain on the children, turning them into chimps. Which, humans didn't evolve from chimps. We have a common ancestor on the primate tree, sure, but it wasn't a chimp. Rex finally gets angry enough to make a very vague threat, but the professor says that they've become too smart to actually use their strength. No. Plenty of incredibly smart people can and will resort to brute force when they need or want to. Our most devastating weapons were made by very smart people. Being smart doesn't mean someone can't be violent. Quite the opposite sometimes, really. It just means they'll be a lot more creative with how they're violent, so really, Rex should just be taking the professor's head off right now. The dinosaurs agree to take the medicine and be turned back into their vicious, animalistic selves to save the kids, being led away to be put in chains. The kids change back, and the next morning a clown named Stubbs gives them pancakes and explains what happened. He keeps trying desperately to make the professor laugh, but my dude, this isn't that kind of circus. It's obviously not a comedic-based circus or one that's more based on fantasy spectacle like Cirque du Soleil. If you want that kind of circus, you gotta go join one that's based around that, not one that's obviously designed to be spooky. People don't come here to laugh, they come to get scared. Know your audience. The kids end up talking Stubbs into taking them to see the dinosaurs, and they're horrified at seeing them chained up and reduced to mindless beasts. They try to make a plan to rescue them, hiding by wearing suits to join the act as the circus performance begins. The professor uses hypnosis on Rex to make him obedient, but a crow sets off some flares, undoing the hypnosis and causing Rex to nearly eat the professor. Louis is able to stop him, his touch somehow turning Rex back to his more intelligent self, Louis and Celia doing the same to the other dinosaurs and returning them to their normal selves. Stubbs makes a very long, what is supposed to be funny monologue quitting his job, which he should have done a long time ago when he realized this wasn't the kind of circus that employs comedy clowns, and leaves. The audience seems to leave all at once as well, with Captain New Eyes showing up to pick up the kids and dinosaurs to take them to the museum himself, which he should have done in the first place. This leaves the professor alone, who has a surprisingly haunting end, with crows slowly descending on him in silence, covering him entirely in a pose similar to a scarecrow, and when they fly away, he's just gone. Except for the screw he used as an eye, which the final crow flies away with. The dinosaurs get to the museum, where the doctor somehow gets the parents to leave all of their kids alone with her so she can show the kids only that the dinosaurs are real, fulfilling their wishes to see real dinosaurs. Celia and Louis go home, which, well, Louis's problem was mostly that his mother was overly affectionate, but I guess now he just accepts that this is how she shows she loves him. But how did Celia's parents pull their heads out of their backsides? The photos at the end show her with them on another birthday, so what changed? Did Rex say he'd eat them if they didn't start paying attention to their daughter or something? Did the captain give them some kind of cereal that made them realize what crap parents they were? We're never told how these problems are resolved. Oh, and Louis and Celia are a couple now, because a boy and a girl can't just be friends in a movie unless they're part of groups for some reason. The whole story is being told to a young bird named Buster by Rex, who is out golfing. Buster wanted to run away because his mother was also very affectionate with him, which got his brothers to tease him about it. But other than a very slight parallel to Louis, that really doesn't have anything to do with the story. The brother birds don't stop being jerks. Buster just kind of sticks his tongue out at them. Does the mom not show affection to her other kids? That's kind of messed up. She only ever seems to attempt to cuddle with or hug the youngest son, not the two others. What is with all the parents sucking in this movie? This movie isn't necessarily what I'd call bad. I was certainly entertained by it, but it's not good either. The story is all over the place, there are mountains of filler, and so many things that could probably have been easily resolved if anyone just thought about it for a moment or two. That's one of the problems with making children's books into a full-length movie. There's often not enough to fill the runtime, so they just end up throwing a bunch of random stuff in to pad it out. Things that seem okay in a children's book because they're not really grounded in reality don't work when you put it in a setting that is more based in the real world. You can have a child's book set in New York and get away with more because it's shorter and the world is mostly communicated through static pictures that often don't show a lot. When you've got a movie with the entire city, the buildings, the crowds, shopping centers and taxis and businessmen and all that, you can't get away with as much, not without working harder to blend it into the world more seamlessly. It was a good effort, but in the end, as the failure at the box office showed, it just didn't work. Thank you all for joining me. Whether you're celebrating Thanksgiving, Friendsgiving, any other holiday, or none at all, alone with friends or family, remember to take care of yourself and think about the wonderful things that you've experienced in life. Focus on the joy and warmth for a bit. I know with so many terrible things constantly going on, it's easy for us to just get buried in them and forget about all the good things that are around us every day. But it's important to remember them. Anything from getting to see a friend or family member you've missed for a long time, to something as small as having a funny chat with a stranger. Be safe, stay warm, and I'll see you in the next one.